Hi, folks. We are live. Today is the 29th of January, 2019. It is our first Global Tarot Circle of the new year. We are 1 minute away from our start time. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube or later on in archive on Facebook, thanks so much for being here. Please watch and go along and play with us, but don't be insulted if we don't answer, because at that point we are not live. Leisha, you are our first person here. So glad that you are here. And I can see we've got people coming in real quick, so I'm glad all of you are here. We always start with burning questions. So a burning question can be a question that you would want to ask a room full of tarot readers. That could be a question about tarot, about a particular card, about a particular spread. It could be a question about a reading you've done that you don't understand. It could also be a reading for you. If you have a question about your life and you would like us to read for you, we will be happy to do that. We usually do readings for the first half hour or so. So it's just 7 now. We'll be doing readings till about 7:30. Then from 7:30 to 8, we do some study, exercise kind of stuff. I have something I want to rant about. So if you've never heard me rant, or even if you have, stick around and you will hear me rant about why it's okay for tarot readers to teach tarot. I know, you wouldn't think that would cause a rant, would you? But it's going to. So I see Allison is here. I see Linda is here. Leisha has the first question. So for those of you who are in the room, here's how it works. If you've got your cards with you, and I hope you do, go ahead and shuffle. I will start the reading. I will do one card and give my interpretation. I would like those of you who would like to read to, first of all, comment with the person's name. In this case, it's Leisha, Leisha, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. That way we all work together to read for each other. If you are here and you're not a reader, that's okay. We're still happy to read for you, so go ahead and ask your questions. I see a lot of great people here. Nilsa is here. Linda Rogers is here. Amy, Angie, Michelle, Irene, Marion. So glad you're all here. And for those of you who are here for the first time, stick around. We have a lot of fun. For those of you who are returning, I'm so happy to see you here again. Oh, Nilsa just met someone. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to look at that. You will be number 2 on the list. We're starting with number 1, who is Leisha, and then number 3 will be Linda. Okay, so Leisha wants to know about his love life. Now notice he's not telling us, has he met someone? Has he not met someone? Is he talking to someone? We don't know. He just wants to know what we see about his love life. So if you would like to ring in on that, just pull a card. In the comments, put his name, Leisha, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What do I see for Leisha's love life? Ooh, the Hermit, dude. To me, that feels like maybe there's nothing going on right now that has the depth that you're looking for. And because of that, you may be feeling a little lonely. So let's see. What do the rest of you see? What do we see for Leisha's love life? Hopefully something better than the Hermit. Now, my good friend Nilsa from Connecticut. Nice to see you here, Nilsa. Nilsa has just met someone. What do we think about this? If you would like to read for Nilsa, go ahead, put her name, Nilsa, Nilsa, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. And those of you who are receiving readings, make sure you check the comment thread to see the rest of your readings here. And we see people still coming in. And Leisha says, yes, there is no one, which is why the Hermit came up, of course. Of course. So let's see how that's going to change. I see Linda is reading for Leisha right now. and got something really good. So that could be wonderful. Let's now take a look at Nilsa. She just met somebody. Let's see what we got. I got Wheel of Fortune reversed. Now, that may speak to some poor fortune in your love life in the past, which, we know there's some. It may be that this new person that you've met also has had some poor fortune. This is not the most auspicious card for a new relationship, but let's see what the other people come up with. And what I'm going to say about that is this. Let's not let the past dictate the future, but let's be aware that this new person may have a lot in his past. I don't know if he shared that with you or not. That's certainly not a deal breaker, but be careful. Be careful that neither of you brings something old to a new table. And let's see what other people have to say here. I am now going to scroll back and look for, we've got 2 Lindas here today. That's wonderful. The more Lindas, the better. But let's not confuse them. This is Linda Bozalewski. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Her question is, I'm starting to get into candle making. How will my business go? Will it be successful? We'll call her Linda B, as she calls herself. So if you would like to read for Linda B, go ahead and put her name, Linda B, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. What do we see about Linda B's candle making? 7 of Wands reversed. Start by marketing to your friends and let it grow from there. If you do the right networking, I think the product is good. Do the right networking, and I think it could be successful. Okay. Hey, David Victor, glad to see you got in. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Glad you got a new computer. I know you'd had a hard time getting in before. Tracy Atkinson, nice to see you here. Okay, kiss a kiss. How will my life change if I move to Florida? Okay, her name is actually Victoria. So you can put in her screen name, which is Kissa, Kissa, or her name, Victoria, either way. The card you got and your answer to her question, how will her life change if she moves to Florida? Hey, it worked for me. Let's see. 5 of Swords. You've got a battle. You've got a battle where you are. You've got a battle if you come to Florida. The weather's good here, but it will not change the basic battles that you are facing. Wherever you go, there you are. So let's see what other people have to say. Let's see. Okay, Michelle. Burning question about Michelle's future. This is Michelle with 2 L's. Michelle Christine Bozalewski. I have a burning question about my future. I plan on going into the Air Force either this fall or spring. Do you see me going through with it and loving it, or do you see me taking a different path? Very interesting. So, hey, Michael Wells, good to see you. So, and everyone, make sure you read what's going on in the comment thread. I often say there's much more wisdom going on in there than coming out of here. So make sure you read. Okay. Going into the Air Force, do we see it happening? Will you love it? If you would like to ring in on Michelle's potential career in the Air Force, go ahead and put her name, Michelle with 2 L's, and the cards you got and your interpretation. What do I see for this? Queen of Cups reversed. Are you sure you want to do this? This suggests to me that it's something you're considering to solve a problem, perhaps. And it's unclear to me whether that problem would or would not be solved. I think you can do it. I think you can handle it. But frankly, I don't know if your heart's in it. Okay. Amy, anything positive coming into my life? So this is this is such a teachable moment. When we talk about the questions that we ask. Anything positive coming into my life? Can we read on that question? Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's see. But it does make me wonder. So have you had a lot of difficult things recently? Just the nature of the question makes me curious, I gotta say. So if you'd like to read for Amy and answer her question, just put her name, Amy, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Okay. Amy, the Emperor reversed. I wouldn't necessarily see this as the world's most positive card, to be honest with you. But if we were to interpret it in the context of the question, what is a positive thing coming for you? I think it has to do with healing for you. I think that there has been some person in your life, probably male, whether it's been a parent, a lover, a husband, a boss, but some person in the past who has not spoken nicely to you or not treated you well. There is a sense of healing from that. And that seems to be a very positive thing indeed. So let's see what else other people see for you. So, Tracy, my daughter is moving overseas. Oh my gosh. And I mean, mother to mother, the first thing I want to say to you is, oh, I'm so sorry. Even though obviously this may be a good thing for her, a positive thing for her, I know how hard it is to have your kids far away. What do we see about Tracy's daughter? Go ahead and put her name. She's Tracy without an E, the name of the card, and your interpretation. How will it go for her daughter going overseas? King of Wands reversed. I'm wondering if she's having to do with a relationship. If that is so, there may be some issues there. I do think that she will be somewhat homesick. And I do think that this is all part of her journey, figuring out really what she wants in life. So in the long run, it's a good thing. I think she'll be safe, she'll be well, but it is definitely a journey of figuring things out. Okay, and Irene's reading Felicia. Very good. Hey, Marion Kirk, nice to see you here. I've applied for a legal job. Will I get it? So, of course, I'm having fun with that. Like, does that mean like it's a legal job, like not an under-the-table job or a job doing something illegal? Or is it a job actually working in the legal industry? I'm assuming it's the latter, but either way, it's always good to be legal. Sorry, I just have fun. So, will you get the job you applied for? If you would like to ring in on this, go ahead and put Marion's name, Marion, the name of the card you got, and your interpretation. Will she get the job? What can you see about it? Page of Pentacles reversed. I'm getting a lot of reversals tonight. Well, it's a good teachable moment on how to do reversals, but it is working in the legal industry. That's what I assumed that. I was just having fun with you because that's how my brain works. It's a curse. Page of Pentacles reversed. It's possible you won't. And I'm sorry to say that. Let's see if some of the other cards that come up are a little more positive. If you do get it, if you do get it, one of two things may be true. It may be that it's very junior for you, and so you will know a lot about what you're doing, or the very opposite might be true. It may be that you'll have to learn a lot very quickly. But there's something there. If you get the job, there's something there that says the amount of knowledge you have and the amount of knowledge required for the job is not going to be a complete match right away. Okay. Let's see what we got. David's doing readings. Very good. So's Amy. Okay, Linda Rogers. Okay. Starting Slimming World on Friday. I guess that's a weight loss thing. Let me know if it works, because Lord, I need something. Okay, will she be successful with her slimming effort? You know what to do. Her name is Linda. Since we have two Lindas, you might want to use her last initial, which is R, the name of the card you got, And your interpretation, will she be successful this time? Oh, now this is great. Five of Cups, typically a card of loss and grief, but loss, I think, is exactly what you want here. So this is a card where I would say, yeah, I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it'll be difficult, but I think you can be very successful. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? I am looking for our next question. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I see Lisa Leal is here. Everyone doing readings for each other. That is what I like to see. Michael, my friend Michael Wells, who I'm hoping I'll see during my trip to Tampa in February, having issues with eyes. Do you see, no pun intended, resolution, maybe healing completely? What do we see about what's going on with Michael's eyes? And yes, this is a health issue. And I know that there are people who are very uncomfortable reading for health issues. I understand that. But I think there's a protocol here. I mean, clearly we are not doctors. But I think we can look at what's going on, see if we can offer some advice, some encouragement. I think that's perfectly okay. So give it a try. His name is Michael. His name, the card, and your interpretation. What do you see for Michael's eyes? Two of Pentacles. For me, this says it might take a little time. There might be some treatment or some medication or something, but I think it's going to be okay. I don't think this is an immediate quick healing. I think it's going to take some work on your part, but I think you're going to handle it. I think it's going to be all right. Okay. And I'm sorry to hear you're having issues too. Okay. Susan, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for doing readings. Okay. Joanne Matthew, nice to see you here. Kristen, glad you're here. Let's see. Okay. Kimberly's on the road, so she's not offering readings, but she's here to hear my rant, which she instigated. So I'm glad you're here. I don't know that you're here to hear my rant. I just put those words in your mouth, but I like to think it. Okay, it's the second. You have a lot of experience, but you'll need to learn a lot. That's from Marion. Remember I said I wasn't sure if it was she had too much knowledge or not enough knowledge. There's more she would have to learn, but she can do it. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Here we go. Question from my neighbor, Lisa. So nice to see you here today. Will my business outreach be received positively? So if you'd like to read for her, her name is Lisa. Will her business outreach be received positively? The card, your interpretation. Let's see what we got going on here. Page of Swords reversed. The whole thing is in the communication. You have to make sure, I don't know, are you communicating to idiots? I don't know. But I wonder, because you have to make sure that it's communicated in a way that people can hear it and understand it. So I think that there could be some need for clarification. Not that it would not be received positively, but that it might not at first be understood. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay. Lisa says, yes, she is dealing with idiots. I'm sorry. There it is. Okay. So I think we have handled every question here so far. If we have missed anyone, if I have missed anyone's questions, please put them back in. I scrolled by and didn't see them. We have about 10 minutes left for readings. And so if you need to restate a question, please do. If you have a question that you haven't stated yet, go right ahead. As I said, we'll be doing this for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to move on. David is looking for love. All right. All right. Anyone want to see what's going on for David in his love life? Will he find someone? His name is David. Put his name, the card that you drew, in your interpretation. What do we see for David's love life? Ooh, David, Four of Pentacles. Now, very often people interpret the Four of Pentacles to be like the card of selfishness, the card of the miser, that kind of thing. He says he's hopefully not looking in all the wrong places. But here's the thing. Another interpretation for the Four of Pentacles is about self-care and good boundaries. And I wonder, David, if there have been relationships in your past where you didn't have good boundaries, where maybe you gave more than you received, or didn't take the time or the energy to have good self-care for yourself. This says to me, certainly a relationship is possible, but that the most important thing right now is that you have really good boundaries and that you take really good care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So let's see what other people here see. Go ahead, pull some cards for David. Is there love in his future? Shelley. Oh, this is a tough one. Shelley wants to know if her marriage will survive. So, again, a very teachable moment here. Obviously, when a marriage is in trouble, what we say is, well, you should definitely get thee to a marriage counselor, of course. And obviously, this is not always a predictive thing, in the sense that what each of you do matters in all of this. So let's see. Will Shelley's marriage survive? What do you see about Shelley's marriage? Go ahead. Her name is Shelley with 2 E's. Her name, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What do you see for Shelley's marriage? 9 of Pentacles reversed. Does not answer your question, but it does give you some interesting insight. Number 1, it may be that there are issues around money, around how each of you perceive money or deal with money or care about money. Those things definitely need to be worked out. The other thing has to do with emotional insecurity. It may be that one or both of you is insecure in the relationship in some way. And whether there was someone's actions that made you insecure, or if you just brought insecurity into the relationship, these are the things that need to be worked on. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay. Miranda. Oh, this is good. Miranda received a request to revise and resubmit my novel to an agent. Hey, that is a really good step forward, my friend. Let's see. What's going to happen? Will the agent like the resubmitted novel? Go ahead and read for Miranda. Her name, Miranda, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What do we see for Miranda's novel? Hey, Cheryl Watson made it. Glad you're not all frozen in over there. Hey, Page of Swords. Okay, this is great news, Miranda. I always identify the page, well, not always. The Page of Swords can mean a lot of things. But one thing I often think about with the Page of Swords is he's a writer. So, first of all, the agent would have not even bothered with this if the agent was not interested. The agent may ask for more revisions too, but the agent is definitely interested. You're on your way, my friend. Oh my gosh, don't forget us all when you are rich and famous, my friend. Let's see what other people see about Miranda's novel. Okay, Susan. Okay, it's an opportunity to do some mediumship. Susan's mom passed away over the holidays. I'm so sorry. It's a hard loss. It always is. I miss her terribly. Of course you do. Does she have a message for me through the cards? So if you've not done work with mediumship with tarot, this is a great opportunity to give it a try. What message do you feel is coming through from Susan's mom? Go ahead, give her name, Susan, the name of the card you got, and what you see as an interpretation. Three of Wands. So to me, this says a lot, Susan. It says that she is happy and grateful for the life she had. It says that she is looking forward to her next chapter and that you also need to look forward to yours. It says that she is proud of you and proud of your success in life and that she is with you, helping you toward even greater success. That's what I feel. Let's see what other people have to say. And again, I'm so sorry for your loss. Hey, Kristen, my friend in Connecticut. Just had a job interview today. Will I get the job? Let's see. Okay, and we're coming down to our last 5 minutes or so of readings. I see a few more questions still coming in. Very good. So, Kristen, will she get the job? Her name, Kristen with an E. Well, first an I, then an E. The name of the card and your interpretation. Does she get the job? King of Swords, it's very likely that indeed you will. Congratulations. And my Connecticut friends, I'm going to be in Connecticut March 26th through April 9th. And I will be doing workshops. I'll be doing a tarot workshop on March 31st. It's a Sunday in Madison. And I'll be working with Robin Brace to do a workshop on essential oils, magic, and intuition in New Haven the following Sunday. So I hope to see you guys there. And I say that when I see Kristen's name because sometimes she makes an appearance and we're always happy when she does. Okay, let's see what we got. Carrie Wilson. Okay, Carrie wants to know, may I ask for insight on what I am doing wrong or holding me back in my development? Okay. Carrie, Carrie. If you want to read for her, her name, the card you got, your interpretation, she's looking at for what she is doing wrong or what's holding her back in her development. Seven of Cups. I'm not sure you're doing anything wrong. I wonder if you have an imagination that runs away with you in sort of a dark way. I wonder if you might just be impatient. And, okay, if you were looking for something to do better, the Seven of Cups would say, do not give in to dark imaginings. Be careful around anxiety issues. Stay focused on the things that are positive in your life. If you have difficult things that you need to heal from, that's great. Work with that, but don't focus on that. Focus on the things that are positive and the positive things that you know can come into your life. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Lots of readings, lots of readings. Okay. Hey, Bo Dombrowski, nice to see you. And here we go, Liz. Hello, my name is Elizabeth. What can you say about my ex, Alejandro Ortiz? Is he coming back to me or has he moved on? Okay, her name is Liz. One card. What do you see? Will she and her ex get back together or will they not? Let's see what we got here. Strength reversed. Liz, it is possible he will come back, but my question is, why would you want him to? I feel like there's a difficult energy here. Maybe it's maybe there's some anger there on both sides. Maybe I wonder if he can be an angry person. I think you may get what you ask for, but it may end up in exactly the same way. Let's see what other people have to say. Okay, Susie Q says she wants a reading. Glad you're here from New Zealand, all the way from New Zealand. Does not say what she wants to know. So here we go, everyone. If you want to read for Susie, Suzzii, if you want to read for Susie, when people don't have a question, there is always an obvious question. And that is, what does the universe want me to know? So what does the universe want Susie to know right now? Death reversed. So I wonder if there is something in your life that is changing that you wish wouldn't, or that there's something in your life that isn't changing that you wish would. It feels like there's something going on here that you're not entirely happy with. The advice: change what you can, release what you can't do anything about anyway, and over time, you will see positive things coming in. Do not focus overly much on the past, focus on the future. Let's see what other people have to say for Susie. Okay, and we'll be taking our last few questions here. And I appreciate all of you here doing readings. This is a fabulous thing. Very good. And the readings will still continue as we go forward. We won't do any new readings unless like the most juicy question comes in and I just can't stand not to, of course. Okay, here it is. It just came in. Kimberly, we'll do Kimberly and then we'll get going. Oh, and we're going to do Bo as well because, Bo's my friend and I love her. Okay, so we'll do Kimberly, Bo, and then we'll probably cut it off. Okay, Kimberly, spelled with a bunch of E's at the end, wants to know if she's in the right job. Anyone else want to play along? Go ahead and put her name, Kimberly, the name of the card, and your interpretation. What do we see about Kimberly's job? The Fool. It's right for now, but not forever. There may be a clear opportunity later on to move on, even coming up soon. That's okay. You're fine where you are for now, but expect change going forward. And Bo, will I get the job I auditioned for? Let's see. And again, if you want to read for Bo, her name is Bo, the card, and the interpretation. Justice, of course you will. You're awesome at what you do. Of course you'll get it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, Sandra, nice to see you. Glad you're here. Okay, so I've got a bunch that I want to play with in our next half hour. And again, if you're still doing readings, go ahead and keep on doing readings. It's fine. It's always a zoo here. We have fun. The first thing I want to talk about, and I would love to hear folks ring in on your thoughts here, Kimberly Essex, who is a professional reader in the Philadelphia area. She has a tarot meetup. I assume she does some teaching. And she was told, I don't know if this was by one person or a few, that if you are a professional tarotist, you should not teach tarot because you'll be creating competition for yourself. You guys, have you ever heard anything like that? Professional readers should not teach tarot because it creates competition? Okay, I'm happy to hear your opinions here, but I'm now going to rant. That is the biggest piece of crap I have ever freaking heard. And I have been in this industry for more than 25 years. Yeah, John Mariani is in there, right, saying BS. Absolutely, he's with me. John says there are not enough of us. Well, that's exactly right. Here's why I think it's ridiculous. Now, okay, if you're a tarot reader and you don't want to teach tarot, I'm not saying there's any reason that you should. And you know what? I just saw my friend here from Lutz, Diana Beam Weinberg. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here. It's so great when people come to play with us. So here's the deal. People are right. Michael says that's crazy. It fosters camaraderie. Yeah, Tracy, what a load of crap. Okay, yeah, right. You guys are agreeing with me. I'm having fun. I'm preaching to the choir here. Okay, all of the reasons. Well, first of all, if you are a tarot reader that doesn't want to teach tarot, that's fine. However, I feel like those of us who can teach and enjoy teaching absolutely should. A few of you are mentioning some of the reasons why that's so. But let me share with you my thoughts. First of all, and I think it was Michael said it fosters camaraderie. It absolutely does. Your tarot friends are your best friends. And so, yeah, there's that, number one. Number two, I have literally taught hundreds of people to read tarot over the course of my career. Of those literally people, those literally hundreds of people, probably thousands by now, most of them still enjoy tarot in their hearts. They still love tarot. They work with tarot. It makes their lives better. Having tarot in your life makes your life better. I often say that the best use of tarot is not what I do with it. I mean, I love my job. I love reading for people, but that's not the best use. The best use is what we do for ourselves. Oh, here's Kimberly. The other aspect of this advice was that people you teach will no longer buy readings from you. It's eliminating business. That's ridiculous. I gain so much business from teaching because when you teach, it shows them how good you are. My students to this day, people I taught 10, 20 years ago, still come for readings. So I think that reader what have they been doing? Reading for 5 minutes? And I think someone along the way, I think it was Anna, I'm not sure, suggested that this was a very insecure reader who might have said this. And that makes a lot of sense. Because do you really believe that A, your students are going to immediately be as good as you are? I don't think so. And number two, we all have different styles. We all have different ways of working with the cards. No one can replace you. And right, Michael says, Christiana has taught me and I get a reading every time I see her. Right, exactly. And that doesn't mean that Michael's not a great reader. He's a pro reader in his own right, and he's awesome. But, I think that we have to recognize that A, even if you're great at reading for yourself, sometimes you want an opinion from someone else, and you see another reader. B, we all have different styles. We all read differently. And C, the people that I have taught that are professional readers or that become professional readers, I'm very happy to unleash these people onto the world. As John said, there's not enough of us. We need great readers out there. So let's make great readers. When we make great readers, we give people a gift that lasts a lifetime for them. We find friends. We find business, and we create colleagues. Now, as a pro reader, sometimes I need other readers at gigs. Who am I going to bring? My students, so it works out. Okay, that was my rant. And I don't think anyone has disagreed with me here. Hey, Kathleen McCormick, nice to see you. Glad you're here. Very good. Very good. Okay. So, yeah, Lisa agrees with me. Tracy agrees with me. Okay, yeah, so I definitely preaching to the choir here. Joanne said, if someone is worried about too much competition, maybe they are just insecure with their own ability. Bo says, the more the merrier. Sandra says, there's no competition because each one of us has our own style. And Michael says, people who think that are coming from a place of lack and are greedy. Susan says, I love teaching tarot workshops and helping people to get in touch with their intuition. It's a joy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And Shelley says, isn't it part of having a gift is to give it away? It's just good karma. I have to agree with that. I really, really do. I feel so blessed to have tarot in my life and to have all you guys in my life that, of course, I want to share that. Of course I do. And as we give our gifts away, our gifts are multiplied. Don't you think? And here's Allison. I've been reading cards for 20 years, but I still buy from other people, from other readers to get perspective. I'm more likely to pay for readings from my teachers than anyone else. Yeah, you go, girl. That is exactly right. Exactly right. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. So now there's a few other ideas that people came up with. And if you want to know how we come up with the ideas of what we talk about in the second half of this monthly program, it all happens on the Global Tarot Circle group on Facebook. So if you are not a member, just ask to join Global Tarot Circle. I'll let you in. I really will. And this is where I right away share the date for the next one. This happens once a month, but it's random throughout the month. It's whenever I can fit it in. And we come up with a list of what we're going to do. Sometimes when we do exercises here, we carry it over to the group. Sometimes we talk throughout the month there. So join us there, Global Tarot Circle on Facebook. Okay, so one of the suggestions for what we talk about today is that Valentine's Day is coming up. And that means that it's the time of love and romance. And I'm actually teaching a class right here in my office on February 10th for those of you who are in the area. And it's about reading on personalities and relationships. How do you do a love reading? How do you do a relationship reading? I really don't like it when people call it that. A love reading, a relationship reading. You know, I do a tarot reading. I do a reading of a person. We may talk about different topics, and love may be one of those topics, but I have a hard time calling it a love reading because that seems so very limited. So my question to you guys is, what are your thoughts on reading about relationships? What has your experience been? What questions do you have? Do you have particular spreads that you like? I'm going to share with you a couple of pointers. So the first is about reading on people's personalities and recognize that, you know, a personality is a multifaceted thing. If I say, well, what kind of person is Peter? And I pull one card, that's not going to tell us everything we need to know. But if someone comes to me and says, hey, I've met this person, what do you think about this person? Is this person good for me? I usually start with a couple. Hey, Patty, nice to see you. I usually start with a couple of cards just to see what shows up for me about the person and that person's personality. Then I pull some cards for compatibility and what we think is going to happen. Here is what I've discovered in over 25 years of doing this. Very often I can see when a relationship is a no-starter. You know, it's just not going to go. The thing is, sometimes relationships look great in the beginning, and then later on they go all the way to hell. Sometimes you can see that coming, sometimes you can't. I have learned, even with the 2 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, the best cards, that I can say it looks good. I can say it's a good risk. I can say you might as well go for it. But I don't these days ever feel comfortable promising happy ever after. Although happy ever after does happen, I don't know how predictable it is because it requires 2 people to be constantly working on it. And I don't know that we can predict whether or not that will happen. So I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. David says, sometimes the partners come in together for the reading. How do you tactfully kick the partner out so you can speak freely? I always find it awkward. So I do a lot of couples readings. And, you know, to David's point, you know, sometimes it will show up that, you know, this relationship is messed up or that person A is person B's biggest problem. If they really want to sit together and do the reading, I don't kick them out. I do it. I put my Scorpio self in a box. I try to be really tactful. I will refer to counseling very quickly. But I can easily see, okay, person A seems to be kind of upset with person B about this. Person B seems to be worrying about this. So I do what I can to facilitate communication between the two. And I find the areas where the communication needs to happen. And I can usually find what the areas of problem are. I don't predict the outcome of the relationship when both of them are sitting there. That's, if they say, well, are we going to make it as a couple? I'm going to say, that's really up to you. You guys have a choice here. So that's how I handle that. And Tracy says, my least favorite type of reading, loved ones. I try to avoid them if I can. Linda says, well, that's what most people want to know. Michael says, I've done couples readings that tell me about the energy of the couple. Yes. Oh, and a couple of people here, both Marion and Michael, want to know. Oh, you guys just want me to rant. That's it. This is come see Christiana rant night, isn't it? Here's the question. What are your thoughts on Doreen Virtue's post on the evils of New Age and metaphysical stuff and why you should stay away from it? Okay, I'm so glad you asked. So, I've actually spoken with Doreen on the phone years ago when I was the resident psychic of Q105 in New London, and she was the angel lady. We called her, she came on, she read for me, I read for her. It was lovely. We had a really nice time. She was gracious. It was beautiful. I don't love her tarot decks. I've worked with them. They're okay. Whatever. I like some of her healing decks, whatever. I knew that she was an ass rabbit when she published her first tarot deck, the Angel Tarot, and she called it the only tarot deck that was 100% safe and gentle, and that she said she was the first one to change the names of the cards and the interpretations of the cards to make them more palatable. Now, first of all, she implied that all other tarot decks are not safe. Secondly, she denied what had come before her. Many tarot artists and authors have renamed the cards to make them gentler. Eileen Connolly did it some 15 years before Doreen did. So Doreen had already shown herself to be disingenuous, to be a little crazy. A little crazy. Now, what do I think about what's happened now? I really find fundamentalism of anything, even tarot fundamentalism, to be incredibly dangerous. Whether you're talking about Christianity, Wicca, the New Age, Islam, Judaism, any kind of fundamentalism is dangerous, unhealthy, wrong. It just is. And I recognize that here in the US, we have this whole culture around respecting people's religions. And I get it. And that's good. And I want us all to respect each other. But I am sorry. If you have embraced fundamentalism, you should lose our respect. Not just Doreen, but any fundamentalist in any religion. The Hierophant teaches us that, people. Absolutely. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, I'm not about to say, I respect her path. I don't, because fundamentalism is not a path. It's just not. Okay. Okay, that was that rant. Anything else you want me to rant about? Let's see what we got here. Do I use a spread for couples readings? Yeah, let me talk to you about that. Hey, Margaret, nice to see you. Thanks for ringing in. So I'm going to show you a couple of things. First of all, if I'm doing a couples reading, what I do is I say, okay, I am reading for 3 people in this reading. There's person A, there's person B, and there's the couple. So that's 3 people. So I'm going to start with one person. I'm going to do my regular 11 card Celtic Cross for that person. Take about 10 minutes, just see what I see. And I'm looking for how the partner shows up in that spread. Pick up the cards, do the same thing for the other partner. Same thing. Few things that we see. If they have kids together, the kids are going to come up. The house might come up. They're going to come up in each other's spreads. That tells me a lot. Then I pick up the cards again. If we're in person, I like to look at the hands. You can tell a lot about a couple in their hands. And I'll tell you how. I'm going to share this with you. If you ask a couple to each put out their dominant hand, look at the relationship between the index finger and the ring finger. In fact, look at it on your own hand. If your index finger is longer than your ring finger, it means you like to be the boss in a relationship. If your index finger is shorter than your ring finger, it means you like the other person to take more control. If they're even, it means you like an even give and take relationship. So I look at both hands and see how the hands are compatible. And if they're not, like what if they both have short index fingers? You see that a lot. This is a couple who will never be able to decide where they want to eat dinner. They're always deferring to the other. If they both have long index fingers, then they're both fighting for control. That doesn't necessarily mean a bad relationship, but it does describe the dynamic. So then, for the couple, having done all of that, I've come up with a list of questions, the things we need to look at. And I just do that in a dialogue way where I ask the question and pull some cards. Now, I can show you a spread, though. You cut the deck. I need to get card cam back so you can see the cards. I'm working on that. Cut the deck 3 times. And if the couple is there, I'll have person A cut to one side and person B cut to the other. Turn over one side. That's person A in the relationship. Turn over the other side. That's person B in the relationship. Turn over the middle. That's the relationship. You can then turn over the next card down and you can even look what's at the bottom. So it can even become a 9-card spread. So you see what each person is bringing to the relationship or who they are in the relationship. And then that middle card describes the energy of the relationship. So those are some things I like to play with. Okay, let's see. Sandra says, you're a Scorpion. You're a Taurus and you love Scorpions. My son's a Taurus. I love Taurans. Thank you so much. John's also a Scorpio and wants to know how many times he's going to have to type the word BS. That's hilarious. Okay, that's great. Thank you guys so much for being so supportive. That's fabulous. Oh, man. David knew a tarot student who got rid of all the cards she felt uncomfortable with, so she'd always get a positive reading. Oh, good God. Good God, good God. Okay, there is so much wrong with that. So much wrong with that. I don't even have to say why that is so wrong, but I will. Because you can still, I mean, and David says quite frankly, quite appropriately, good luck getting an accurate reading. But, you know, the thing is, even the most positive cards can speak to difficult things in life, and even the most difficult cards can speak to positive things. And Jennifer Fox is a Scorpio, too. We're just having a Scorpio party here. Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. Marion's index finger is like half an inch longer than a ring finger. Yeah, that says a lot. That says a lot. Okay, very good. Very good. So, John, yes, John, you're my birthday twin. That's fabulous. I think I knew that and forgot it. That's a fabulous thing. Okay, so in our last, we've got about 8 minutes. And I would love to have us, there's some other topics that we haven't even gotten to yet. We had a long conversation on the Global Tarot Circle website, on the group page, about reading for particular demographics. And are there, like, is it harder to read for senior citizens versus kids, whatever? And, it was an interesting conversation because it is very easy when you talk about demographics, it is very easy for it to become bias. And there were a couple of people in the group who said, no, you just read the cards, no matter who you're reading for. And I kind of agree with that because I love doing phone readings and I can't see if the person's old or young or where they come from or how they're dressed. And the cards always come out right and intuition is always right and it just works. But I also find that I do a lot of work at parties of peers where it's like a high school prom. So everyone's on their way to college. Or it's in an assisted living place. So everyone is at the end of their lives. And the cards do sort of read differently for those groups. So my question is, when you do a reading for someone, how much do you use what you know about them, about their age, about their financial situation, whatever? How much do you take that into account in your interpretation? How much do you just let what you see in the cards and your intuition take it? Now, where that question, like what that distilled into, was this really interesting question. Have you ever had to do a reading for someone who, for one reason or another, doesn't have a lot of questions, doesn't have a lot to say, and there's not much coming up in the cards to indicate that they do much? It really seems to be same stuff, different day, every single day for them. They don't seem unhappy with it. It's just life. They don't have questions. How do you give a great reading to someone who does not have great things or even terrible things or anything going on in their life? So there's two questions there. Do you think about the context of where a person is in life when you interpret, when you do a reading for them, number one? And number two, what do you do with a person who doesn't have a lot of questions and doesn't seem to have a lot going on in their life? To answer the first question, Joanne says, I just go with intuition and the cards. Linda says, I hate reading for friends, much rather read for a stranger, and that makes sense. That makes sense. Jennifer had the blank person happen to her last week. What a good name for it. The blank person. Yes, I get it. How did you handle it, Jennifer? And Jennifer says, and this is a good point, it's hard because if you allow what you know to get in the way, you're using your brain, not the cards. Right, absolutely. Michael says, I think that the interpretation depends on the energy of the person being read. So let me just share a couple of ideas for the blank person. Oh, let's see. Okay. Yes, it was a very boring, this is from Bo. It was a very boring reading and she was very disappointed, but the reading was letting her know that all was good and not much to work on or to be surprised. Tracy does 100% email readings, so I have no idea how old they are. I just read what I see. I don't take anything into account unless they tell me something. I did a general reading once. No question asked. I just read. I saw 5 years. Later, she gave me feedback and said everything came back true. Absolutely. Okay, so here's what Joanne does. She starts with a 5-card draw, no questions, nothing particular. Those 5 cards always lead to a question, a problem, a situation, or a discussion, regardless of how much the person seems interested. Those cards more often than not open up that person's interests. Jennifer says, my blank person got a great reading on how wonderful her life is and that she got confirmation she was on the right path. Beautiful. Linda says, I just read what I see. Those who don't ask questions and never elaborate, so just read, and usually we touch on something. My thing is, I charge by the time. So if a person's paid for an hour and we've gotten through their whole life in 15 minutes and they don't have questions, what are we going to do? Now, we can just tie it up and save them some money, and sometimes that works. But if they want that time with me, then there's something going on. So I start to supply the questions. And this is the tidbit I'm going to give you before we say goodnight. If they don't have questions, and a couple of people have already said it here, including Joanne, the cards often supply the questions. And if the cards don't supply the questions, your intuition can supply questions. Even if we are looking at things like, what are your hidden talents? Or who might you have been in a past life? Or what are some fun things you could do over the rest of the month? Or, anything. Be intuitive and let intuition guide questions that you can ask of the cards as well as your interpretation. And Kathy said a life can look like that, but have a rich inner life. Absolutely. Susan, okay, this is interesting. Susan says, I feel it's helpful to understand the needs of your audience. Well, that's just it, and we were talking about this, and I think Kimberly Essex would agree with this, that it may be that people who are in their 80s or 90s have different needs than people who are in their 50s or 60s or whatever. Also, the more life experience you have, the broader your perspective and grasp of life's challenges. Older readers may have an advantage in that they have been there, done that. Sure. And Jennifer says, I was going to start doing past life stuff. Fun. Joanne, one simple question can open up a whole series of questions without even trying. Yes. And that's where you want to use your intuition to get to those questions. So there was a whole bunch more that we didn't get a chance to talk about this time, but that's okay. We can do it next time. Sandra, this is brilliant. I do what is the question you're not asking? That's beautiful. I'll share one more thing too. Michael says, I've had blank people where the cards brought out things they hadn't even considered. So we would go with that. That's perfect. Yes. Sometimes, and this is not just for blank people, it's for any people that I'm struggling with for whatever reason, I will pick up the cards. I won't tell them what I'm doing. I will do a reading for myself. I will ask my guides, tell me how to help this person. What does this person need from me? Where should I go with this person? And I will pull a card just for me to guide me in the reading. The client doesn't know what I'm doing. It's okay. But that helps too. Okay, so that's our time. It's actually 8:01. I could hang out with you guys all night, but we got places to go and people to read for and things to do. So if you're not a member of our Global Tarot Circle group, please do join us right here on Facebook. Now's the time for shameless self-promotion before you go. Drop a link. Tell us what you got going on. Let us know what you've got going on so we can support you. I've got my book, Fortune Stellar, available on Amazon. I'm teaching a class here on February 10th. I will be in Tampa February 15th through 17th doing readings and also a meetup. What else? This Thursday, I'm doing a psychic gallery at Dream Angels in DeQuesta. Hope to see you there, those of you who are local. And what else? Well, I'll be presenting along with Jenna Matlin and Jay and Jadzia DeForest the Professional Development Extension Day at Northwest Tarot Symposium in the beginning of March. So if you can get out to Newt's, please do. I'd love to see you there. And of course, for those of you who are professional readers or want to be, I do have a custom mentorship package. So reach out. I'll look forward to seeing you. Oh, Kimberly, a Tampa meetup. Yes, so glad. And while I'm in Tampa, I am available for private readings, house calls, house parties. Just let me know. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you all. Check out in the comment thread, check out all of the links. And let's give each other some business. Let's read each other's blogs. Let's give each other some support. Remember, your tarot friends are your best friends. We'll see you next month. We'll see you in the group. Let's not be strangers. Take good care. Thank you all so much.